Hi everyone, my name's Sylvia Barnes and I'm a health psychologist based in Norwich, Norfolk. And together with Just for Children, I've been asked to create a video just offering a few bits of advice and tips for parents who are looking after children who are unwell in this really difficult time. The current COVID crisis, I know it's really hard for most families, and it must be even more difficult for families caring for children who are sick. For a lot of you, this crisis is a really fearful, anxious time, and there's just so much that we don't know and that we can't really control. But I just wanted to start by saying that if you're feeling scared or worried or afraid, that these are totally normal feelings to have and are to be expected. And I also just want to recognise that it must be so difficult trying to remain calm in yourself as well as for your kids and your family. So let's go through these 5 ideas that parents can keep in mind over the next few weeks. So number 1, focus on what's in your control. There's so much that we can't control at the moment, and I think our emotions and our feelings are definitely one of those things. But what we can control is what we do. And one thing that all of us can do to help feel a little bit more grounded, a little bit more calm, I guess, is a quick technique called the tree. And for anyone who's interested, I'll come back to that at the end of the video. Number 2, try to curb your social media use. You may have noticed, and I certainly have, that there is a huge amount of coverage of the pandemic on social media. And previous to this, I used social media as a bit of a distraction from reality, but at the moment it seems like maybe there's a bit too much reality out there. So my advice would be to just take a step back from that if you can. Stick to trusted news sources like the NHS website or gov.uk. And also, I think groups like the Just for Children discussion group on Facebook are really helpful as well for just staying connected and just feeling like it's normal what you're experiencing and going through. Number 3, get some kind of exercise. This is so easy for me to say, but it's quite another thing to do. So I know it's really hard when you've got a busy family and maybe there's a lot of restrictions put on the sports that you might have normally done. I would say if you've got kids and you have to stay indoors, that this is a real chance to get creative and kind of figure out what you can do in the limits of your house. I think you'll find that your kids will probably have some good ideas of what you can do as well. Number 4 is the basics. So most of our routines will be thrown to the wind, especially if you're having to self-isolate and work from home. And again, just like the exercise, it's really easy for me to say, but it's quite hard to do. But try to remember the basics. So that's trying to eat well, drink enough water, reduce caffeine. So that's in coffee and tea and Coca-Cola and energy drinks, because that can have a really negative effect on your stress levels. And try to keep to regular bedtimes if you can. The other thing is to stay connected to family and friends as much as possible. Another opportunity to get a bit creative. I'm sort of scheduling in video chats with groups of friends over a meal in the coming weeks just to try and keep up the contact and keep things normal. Number 5, I think this is the most important point, is just please be kind to yourselves. Now more than ever, it's so important to be kind to ourselves as well as those around us. And from my experience, parents looking after sick kids and their families are especially bad at this. But we need it now more than ever. So I know you're all trying to do the absolute best that you can, and I really want you to try and tell yourselves that whenever you get the chance. I think there's also people out there who are doing things that might be negatively impacting on the lives of you and your family, and it's really important to try and be kind to them as well, and remember that they're probably scared and trying to look after their families as best they know how. Being angry at them probably won't change how they're acting, and it'll just take up vital mental energy that you need to be thinking and spending thinking on other things. Okay, so those are my 5 pieces of advice to keep in mind for parents. And now what I'd like to do is run through an exercise called the tree. So this is really helpful for feeling more grounded, so less overwhelmed and stressed. And this exercise is really good because you can make it last as long or as short as you like, depending on how long you want to spend on each of the steps. You can also do it everywhere. So you could do it sitting in a car, sitting in a chair, standing in the shower, any time that you've just got a few minutes to focus. And even better still, you can actually do this with your kids and family too. So to begin with, just if you're sitting or standing, try and get your spine tall and straight, and allow your eyes to close or focus on a point in the distance. Now take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and repeat that a few more times. And just try and focus on the breath. Now plant your feet firmly on the floor and imagine yourself taking root like a tree. Notice as you do that, the muscles in your lower and upper legs tightening as you gently press your feet into the ground. And that breathing you were doing at the beginning, keep trying to do that throughout this technique. Now I want you to move your attention to your stomach and chest, which is also known as your trunk, taking in some deep breaths through your nose and out your mouth, and just turn your attention to your trunk, expanding as you breathe in and deflating as you breathe out. Now I want you to branch out with your mind. So if you can open your eyes now and just try to notice 3 things you can see, 3 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel. Maybe it's your clothes on your skin or the air on your face, and 3 things you can hear. And finally, just finish by taking a few more breaths, and when you're ready, wriggle your fingers and toes and come back to the present moment. So just remember, if ever you're feeling overwhelmed throughout the day, you can try the tree to bring you back to the present moment, the here and now, and help feel a bit more grounded. Okay, so just as a final point, we're really keen to hear what you think about this video, if you found it was helpful, or if you think in the future it would be good to have a few more videos covering some slightly different things. And I also wanted to mention that Just for Children have really kindly offered to fund an initial session of 25 minutes for parents to speak with me online or over the phone if they're finding COVID stress and worry is really getting in the way of their ability to sort of care for their kids. If you're interested in taking up those sessions, please just see my details below. Thanks very much.